In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and Chinese-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser. This is my husband Joe, and
Hello.
It feels like we haven't done a podcast for a very long time. What do you think?
I feel tripped up by your lack of allowing me space to say hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So sorry. No, it's fine, really. It's fine.
Well, welcome.
I'll just talk over.
Welcome
when
home.
You say.
Welcome
things.
home. Okay, shut up. It's my podcast.
Okay, sorry.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Joe's just been in Thailand, so in Bangkok, and I would have gone as well if I hadn't had a trapeze competition in 4 days. But yeah, so how's in fact, what do we drink? Cheers. Welcome
Cheers.
home.
Thank you very much.
What are you drinking?
I've got a bottle of beer.
Is it Hop House Lager?
Hop House Lager.
And I have a little tiny glass of elderflower gin liqueur with a recipe for elderflower Collins on the back of it. And this is from Gusto, and this is another of... I'm stretching out my Christmas present from Teresa. It's amazing.
Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. So yeah, this is... Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh. So tell us about the weirdest thing that happened to you in Thailand.
Okay, so we were hosted by a Thai company. I was there with work, doing quite a lot of work, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
But we did have a bit of fun in the evenings with going out for dinner and going to markets, and it was nice.
Yeah.
One of the things we did was we went to a bar, and it was quite nice. It wasn't weird. Quite a lot of people think that everything in Thailand or Bangkok is kind of seedy, and it wasn't at all.
Yeah.
So we went to this bar, and it's very nice. Had a couple of beers. It was huge. There were like thousands of people there. There was live music. It had multiple big spaces. It was great. And I went for a wee, because you do when you are drinking beer
Yes, you do.
in a bar. Somewhat disturbingly, I don't really know how to say this. A Thai gentleman snuck up behind me, and ran his hands up and down the back of my neck, and then started massaging my shoulders, whilst I was doing what I was there to do.
Having a
which
wee.
was having a wee.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how much experience you've got stood in front of urinals, Vicky, but
Very little, Joe.
I'm sure some of the readers,
I try to avoid male toilets because they're gross.
some of our listeners have probably some experience in this. But I mean, in the UK, you don't even talk to people at urinals. You don't look at them, you don't talk to them, you don't say a word.
Okay.
You might just about say hi while you're washing your hands afterwards.
Okay.
But at the urinal, it is like, do not. One thing you really don't do is sneak up behind them and start touching them. Particularly without their consent. So this is a bit weird, but it's a whole different culture, and it's all a bit strange.
It's different culture.
Different culture. So this dude, I kind of froze, and my eyes widened a little bit, but he couldn't see that because he was a foot shorter than me and standing behind me. And he proceeded to, massage my neck, massage the backs of my arms, massage my shoulders, and start, working his way down my spine. And I'm like, this is deeply strange. Not entirely unpleasant, but deeply strange.
Yeah.
And when I'd finished doing the thing I was there to do, weeing, he was like, okay, so... And he did all kinds of weird shit, like he made me put both my hands behind my head, and then held onto one of my elbows, then bent down and grabbed the opposite ankle, and like...
I didn't hear the rest of this story.
Yeah, no, and then he like crunched me, and I crunched like 2 or 3 vertebrae, and then he was like... yanking me head about a bit, and that got a few cracks and bangs, and he worked his way down my spine with various things, and I was just stunned. Frankly, I was just frozen to the spot while this small Thai man did things to me in a bathroom.
Okay, cool.
And that was kind of that.
And after that, you made sure you went to the bathroom with Bart in your pocket.
With small amounts of money in my pocket, because yes, that's the kind of the deal. He's like the chap in UK nightclubs who wants to give you a squirt of aftershave.
Yeah, in ladies' toilets in nightclubs, there might be people with hand cream and like baskets of nice things, and you could either give them some money or not.
Yeah.
So, well, that's.
It was startling.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that the British culture was quite so don't even look at anybody in a bathroom, but I was aware that touching is certainly not a thing that happens.
Not in bathroom. Well, certainly
Not in straight bathrooms.
Not in straight bathrooms. No.
So Joe's been in Thailand.
That was fun.
And now he's home, which is great because he was gone for a whole week.
Oh.
And I was missing you. And now you're back, which is great. And Dingle update. Oh my goodness, exciting things going on in the Dingle. Today, our neighbour, who is a builder, has been digging a great big hole, which is going to be where the foundations for my new office is going to go.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting because that's going to be where I am going to create my 1,000 authors and all the rest of it. So business update, what's going on in my business? I have built a new website.
Nice.
Did that last week.
Is it available for the public?
Not quite. Some of the links and stuff don't work yet. But I'm really pleased with it. And you had a look earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, that's cool. That's really good.
Yeah, it looks like a grown-up did it. And a grown-up most definitely did not do it. I did it. And so this, and I'm kind of a bit at 6s and 7s because I think the last podcast we were in Portugal, which seems like a long time ago.
Surely not.
I think it was.
No.
Yeah. I've just basically not done a podcast for a couple of weeks, and I really hope we've still got a listener.
Hi, listener.
But yeah, we're back on it. We're changing the podcast soon. It's going to reflect more what I do now, which is business owners and self-publishing and writing books and things. Fundamentally, it's still going to be you and me rambling about
talking nonsense. Yeah.
But it's going to be a bit of a rebrand of the stuff. So I think I felt a little bit like, I don't really know what to do. And then I thought, well, you know what? Let's talk about being funny when you're writing. And that's a nice follow-on from the story that you just told us, which is frankly hilarious if you're not you. And yeah, because we actually got a question a while ago, and I think we answered it in one of the podcasts, but I just wanted to expand on it a little bit. Because it led to a whole chapter in my book, which was, how can I be funny? How can I be fun? How can I... And I think what she was really asking was, how can I not be boring? How can I inject personality into my writing? But I wanted to talk about actually being funny if people, genuinely want to be funny.
Okay.
Because it's a bit of a tricky game. It's a dangerous game to play for a variety of reasons. But I wanted to start with a joke. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Mustache.
Mustache who?
Mustache you a question, but I'll shave it for later. I like that joke. It sounds a lot better when you tell it in a Sean Connery voice, I think.
Okay, try again.
You do it. Can you do Sean Connery?
No.
Knock, knock. No, knock, knock. That's an entirely different joke.
That's not Sean
Right.
Connery.
Moving swiftly on. So when we're talking about being funny, we're not really talking about telling jokes because I think telling jokes is a skill in and of itself. I cannot tell a joke as I have just amply demonstrated.
Clearly demonstrated.
But I am pretty funny. I can be funny. I can write. I know I make people laugh with my writing. I certainly can make people laugh with my physical humour.
Sure.
When I'm at the Pole Studio and stuff like that. And I can come up with amusing, I can tell a funny story when I've had a bit of preparation. But I can't tell a joke to save my life.
Right.
And I just wanted to kind of say that being funny doesn't necessarily mean telling jokes. And if you think about how the funniest comedians do their skits, it's rarely jokes.
It is very rarely jokes. It's all about stories.
Yeah, it's all about stories. It's all about turns of phrase. It's all about timing is really important. It's all about knowing your audience and knowing how to tell a story in such a way that, the best comedians can tell a tragic story and make it funny. And make it funny without being crass. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that kind of thing takes years, decades of practice. So that's the first thing I wanted to say is if you want to be funny, I think that actually the question was, I've just found it. If I were to write a book, how do I write with humour and still hammer home the intent? So,
right.
Which is a really, really good question. And I think if you're trying to be funny, it's dangerous for a variety of reasons. Firstly, because humour is very subjective. Like some people actually don't have a sense of humour at all, as in they don't get jokes, they don't understand funny.
Yeah.
And, that doesn't mean they're bad people or wrong people. It just means that they don't
they're not getting it.
They don't have a sense of humour. Yeah, it's not that they're miserable, it's that, I don't know, it's just they don't find things funny. Other people will have an entirely different sense of humour to you. So what you might find hilarious, they might find won't get it, they might find it horribly offensive, or they might just be like, well, that's not funny, I don't, What? Other people will think you're absolutely hilarious. And so that's another thing to keep in mind. If you write something funny or you write something that you would like to be funny, not everybody is going to find it funny. Not everybody is going to find it amusing.
Well, that's the same kind of deal with any sort of open and honest writing, isn't it? People are either going to like it, or they're not going to get it, or they're going to love it, or anywhere in between.
Yeah.
It's just how it is when you write things.
Yeah, I think the danger, though, with trying to be funny is that you can try too hard as well. And that's just, that goes through funny and out the other side into total cringe. So you know when you're listening to someone and they're clearly trying to be funny and you just want to crawl inside your own face because it's just like, am I keeping you up? I probably am, actually.
You're a bit,
still
yeah.
on tie time.
I'm still on tie time, yeah.
Joe just did a massive yawn and then tried not to yawn and ended up gurning hilariously. We should have been videoing that. So yeah, if you try and be funny, I think sometimes there's a danger that you try too hard and you just pass through into cringeworthy, and then everybody will want to climb inside their own faces, and you don't want to make people feel like that.
Yeah, I think an early key to being funny is being liked.
Yes.
If you are liked, then people will go with you and find it amusing. If you are not liked, they'll think you're just being a twat.
Yes. Actually, I was listening to a podcast today, the self-publishing podcast with James Blatch and Mark Dawson, which is a great podcast, by the way.
Hey, James. Hey, Mark.
Hi, guys. I so would love it if they were listening. And they were interviewing an author whose name I didn't catch because I'm a terrible person. Anyway, he was talking about the 7 P's of publishing, and he was talking about one of the P's, I think, was people, and how important it is to be liked. And James Blatch was talking about, he used to be a BBC journalist, and now he does this. And he said that he's met presidents and kings and, big celebrities. And he said, almost without question, every single one of the people that he met was really nice, really likeable. And he pointed, because, people love to be bitchy about the rich and famous. And he made the really good point that these people are all super successful and at the top of their game because they are likeable people.
Yes.
You don't get to the top of your game by being an arsehole.
Everybody's trying to cut you down because you're an arse.
Yeah. And, the rare exceptions to that rule that we hear about, the Donald Trumps and the Boris Johnsons, would you guys just fuck off of the world, they're the ones that get all of the noise, all of the media noise. They are not the norm in the world of politics. They're not the norm in the world of celebrity. Mm-hmm. They're just the ones that have, made enough noise and the media have picked up, and the media are like, oh, this is a great story. But the vast majority of people who are at the top of their game, whether that's business, celebrity, politics, are likeable people. They go out of their way. It's in their business interest to make sure that they're likeable.
Yes.
So that is kind of riffed off your point there, that it's really important to be liked by your audience.
Yes,
and
for sure.
And it is super important. And that's not about trying to be somebody that you're not, or being fake, or anything else. It's about not being a dick.
Yeah, and I think also not putting up too much of a persona.
Yeah.
That gets my goat, certainly, when somebody is clearly hiding who they really are.
Yeah, and
I don't really care who people are.
As long as they're real.
As long as they're real, yeah.
And that can be a bit tricky. When you're right at the beginning of your career or your business, that can be a little bit tricky because you're not quite sure who you are yet, and you're finding your feet and you're nervous. Sure. And so, if you listen back to our first podcast, we probably sound like, people have said we sound completely different because there were nerves there. It's not that we were trying necessarily to be something that we're not, but there was a certain amount of nerves. If you look back at my earlier writing, my really early daily emails and all the rest of it, I sound like a different person because I probably was trying a little bit too hard to not be something that I wasn't, but to just be a bit more impressive than I felt like I was. And so that is something to bear in mind as well. When you're writing your book, don't worry about trying to impress people. That's, if what you have to say is valuable and your message is good and your intent is good, people will be impressed by you. And that's not the point anyway. It's like, will you help people? Always keep in mind, am I being a dick? And is this going to help people? And the answer to the first one wants to be no, and the answer to the second one wants to be yes. I'm going to pick 2 better questions. I think you can just sum the whole podcast up, like everything up, as don't be a dick and help people.
Yeah, that would be pretty much.
Yeah.
That would do it, wouldn't it?
And then if you've got a funny story to tell it.
Tell it honestly, as yourself.
Yeah.
Don't try and sound like Billy Connolly.
Yeah, because only Billy Connolly can do that.
Because that's what Billy Connolly sounds like, yeah.
Yeah. And this is a thing, you see, because I remember reading an article about Jerry Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. Is that his name?
Seinfeld, yeah.
Seinfeld, yeah. And it never occurred to me before I read this article, and this is so stupid because it's like people say to me when they see me do a trapeze thing, oh, I could never do that. And it's like, well, nor could I 6 years ago. But it never occurred to me that comedians were made and not born until I read this article by him. And he was like, I write jokes every single day. I write funny stories every single day. I work on my material every single day.
Yeah, I'm working.
I'm working on this stuff. It's not, I don't just get up on a stage and be funny. That's not how this works. And, you know, when you think about it like that, you think, of course it's obvious.
Of course they're putting the hours in.
Of course they're putting the hours in. But, and that's the thing, is like when you see them on stage and they're so funny and it's so effortless, that's the result. And that's why people think, oh, I could never be a comedian. That's why when people see me doing something really polished in a trapeze routine, they're like, oh, I could never do that. It's like, well, right now, no, you couldn't. But what you haven't seen is all of the bruises, the hitting the floor with my face, the working out what's going to work and what isn't going to work. And it's the same way as being funny. If you really genuinely want to be funny, if you want to write funny books, you need to practice. You need to go learn. Go and learn how to do stand-up comedy.
Ugh, I can't imagine anything worse.
I'm actually looking for a stand-up comedy class. There's the Bristol Improv Theatre, which is the closest place that I could find. And I'm waiting for them to run another course that I can actually attend. And it's going to push me so far out of my comfort zone because whilst I said earlier, I can be funny and, you know, I can make people laugh. The idea of having to stand on a stage and deliberately make people
do it now,
deliberately do it now, just makes me feel sick. But that's part of the reason why I want to go and do it, because I will learn an awful lot about an awful lot of things, I think. So yeah, if you want to be funny, if you want to learn how to make people laugh, go and learn. Go and find a comedy class. Go to a comedy club and do a stand-up show. And that's how all of the comedians, you know, famous comedians started. They went and did something that sounds so horrifying that I can barely form the words. They went and did a first skit in a comedy club and they probably got fruit thrown at them.
Yeah, probably had an awful time.
Yeah, they probably had 3 people there who are all drunk or asleep. And it was just horrific. And, you know, you got. I'm not saying that people listening are going to want to become comedians, but you can learn to be funny, is what I'm saying.
I think, for me, it's the people who are honest that I find amusing and entertaining and funny.
Yeah, painfully honest.
People painfully honest, with no projected persona, just who they are.
Yeah.
They're the people who find it, with me as the audience, as funny.
Yeah.
I like
that. Do I fall into that category? Because I'm clearly hilarious.
Yeah, you're pretty funny.
Are you mostly laughing at me rather than with me?
No.
I'm wearing a sad face right now.
Oh.
So, and the other thing that I wondered when I got this question about writing with humour, I wondered if the person asking the question really meant, how do I write entertainingly without talking down to my reader and still hammer home my message? I suspect that's what she really meant. So unless you're writing a comedy book, you're not trying to be funny. I really hope that Drayton Bird, by the way, wrote the foreword to my book, which I am so excited about. And he has read a bit of it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Vicky's funny as well. She'll teach you stuff, and she's funny." And I was like, "Oh, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me."
If you're not sure who Drayton Bird is, by the way, Google him and find out. Yeah,
because if you are even a little bit serious about marketing your business, you need to know who this guy is, and you need to sign up for his ideas. And he's just awesome. His autobiography is going to be out soon. I'm helping him write it, and it's going to be the most fucking eye-opening shock fest. It's going to you won't believe that he's lived the life he has, but he has. I'm amazed he's still alive.
Super interesting guy.
He's super interesting, yeah. But yeah, so how to write entertainingly without talking down to people, I think is really the thing. And the key to that is not to clamber aboard your soapbox and preach at people, which is, I think, very easy to do when you're feeling a little bit nervous and you're like, oh, I've got this stuff to teach. And you go into kind of didactic teaching mode and you get up on your platform and you go,
you just start saying
these
things.
are the things that you must do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to put people off, and it's going to come across as preaching, and it's going to, probably you'll find that a lot of your writing is filled with words like should and must and need to. And those are the words that you need to get rid of and then rewrite it a little bit. So the easiest way that I can think of to do that is to tell stories rather than stand there and tell people what to do. Tell stories about what you've done, what your clients have done, what other people who can teach a lesson have done. We learn through stories. We don't learn through somebody standing at the...
Here are the 3 points.
Yeah, here are the 3 points. Yes, that's important. But first of all, you need to entertain me and engage me and draw me in. And I think that's really what she was asking. It's about being human, telling human stories, asking questions of your reader, getting your reader involved on your level. so that you're not just bellowing advice at them from the top of a pulpit in the way that, happens in churches and places like that. And then, the last thing I want to say really is kind of what you said, which is be yourself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't even read the show notes.
There aren't any show notes.
I mean, the your notes.
My book chapter that I'm staring at right now.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah. Just be yourself. Because I think one of the other big dangers is, and I have fallen into this trap myself, that I will quite often read something that somebody said and be like, oh my God, that's absolutely hilarious or brilliant, and I wish I'd written it. And then I'm like, right, I need to recreate that somehow in my words. And it never works because it wasn't my idea in the first place, and it's really difficult to put something like that into your own words.
Yeah.
I'm all for taking other people's stories and, putting your own spin on them, but trying to be funny on the back of somebody else's funny thing, it never works.
Yeah.
So what I think is, read it, laugh hilariously at it, make a note of it, learn from it, think, okay, so why was this funny? Why did this make me laugh? Pick it apart. Was it the words they used? Was it the timing they used? Was it the order of telling the story? Because sometimes just swapping the order of telling a story is going to make it funny.
Sure.
So rather than kind of try and think, I really wish I'd written that, how can I rewrite it in my own words? Don't. Pick it apart instead and then think, how can I tell stories like that in the future? What was it about this story that made me laugh hilariously, uproariously? I think is a much more useful thing. And also stay within your comfort zone. Maybe writing funny things isn't your thing. Maybe you're more slapstick comedy. Maybe you're more Laurel and Hardy, which is cool. And if that's the case, then go and give speeches on stages and make people laugh that way. I think that's a pretty good piece of advice as well. But be you. You. You do you, boo.
Gotta be you.
Yeah, you do you, boo. Okay, so I think we're pretty much done. What's the takeaway? Takeaway is be yourself.
Be yourself.
Yeah. Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. Unless you can be Batman.
Yeah, don't be Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's that for this week.
Blimey.
Yeah. Next week, I want to go through the 10 commandments of writing your book.
Oof.
I know. Which is at the beginning of my
All
book.
10 of them. Is that not 10 podcasts?
I don't know. I can't remember what I said. I can't. Actually, let's have a look. Is it 10 podcasts or is it just one podcast? No, it's one podcast.
It's a podcast.
How very dare you? We could make 10 podcasts out of it.
Well, we could. I mean, we've. You remember the hostage negotiation series?
Shut up.
That was great.
Anyway, I have a couple of shout-outs.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. So in my postbox last week when you were away in Thailand, getting massaged by strangers in toilets, I had 2 parcels delivered. The first one arrived on, I think, Tuesday, and it was from Natasha Lewis. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Natasha.
And I just wanted to say congratulations and bloody well done for sending me a copy of your first book. Was it your first book? No, I think it's your second book. I think she's written another book, co-written it with someone else. I think it's her first solo authored book.
Nice.
And it's called No Pulling Allowed, From Painfully Disappointing Drag to Delightfully Relaxing Stroll. And it is all about how to train your dog to basically not pull on the lead, I think.
Nice.
And she's written me a lovely little note inside. Thank you for all your support. Hope you enjoy my book. Let the tiny sheep training commence. So I am going to use her book, and then I'm going to write her an amazing Amazon review. I'm going to use her book to train the tiny sheeps to do agility.
Okay. Well, walking on a lead would be handy.
Actually, yeah, walking on a lead really would be handy. And also, I'm going to train them to open more doors.
No.
Yes.
No sheep in the house.
Yes, sheep in the house. You sent the sheep into the house the other day.
Wake you up.
To wake me up. Yeah. So yeah, really, Natasha, well done. Really well done. I am so proud of you for creating this book and for writing this book. Some beautiful colour photos in here as well. Really beautiful.
Looks great.
It looks absolutely great. You should be really proud of this. I'm super chuffed for you. So that's really exciting. And she also sent with it, she sent a little letter, which is what I always tell people to do. Congratulations on ordering, and, a little bit of check out the bonuses and all that kind of thing, and reminding people to actually read it. And she also sent me a little neckerchief, which I presume is for doggles to wear around their collar. But I'm totally going to tie this around Bronson's neck, and he is going to, gently, not in a... That sounded awful. I'm gonna give him a... What do you call it? What do you call them?
A neckerchief?
Is that a neckerchief or what? They have another name.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, man. It's not kimono, because that's like a... It's a big... I'm... Oh my god. I've descended into noises.
I have no idea what we're just stretching for.
Somebody's going to be like, oh, for God's sake, it's called a... Bleh. Anyway, a neckerchief. We're going to give Bronson a neckerchief, and I'm going to take a picture of him with the no pulling allowed, and he'll probably be pulling me over, and it'll be... physical comedy. Hilarious. So that was really exciting. Congratulations, Natasha. I'm really chuffed for you.
Well done, Natasha.
Yeah, I'm going to make a video about that. And then the second book to arrive was Carol's book.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Congratulations on publishing... Carol is the doggy doctor. She's published Problem Pooch to Perfect Pet #1. Troublesome to Tranquil. Beautifully illustrated on the front cover by Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Rob.
Who's done a fantastic cartoon. She sent me a gorgeous handmade... Because Carol's also super crafty. She sent me a gorgeous handmade bookmarking with it as well.
Nice.
And she has... I don't know if she's written... in this, but she has it's just great. It looks fantastic. Again, beautifully produced, beautifully written.
Yeah, looks great.
Lovely laid out. It looks like a proper book, which it bloody is a proper book. It's also again illustrated beautifully by Rob.
Awesome.
Yeah. Should I stop my dog eating grass? And then there's a picture of a sheep, which is fantastic. I feel like Rob has modelled that sheep on our sheeps.
Could be.
But he hasn't got horns, so... beautifully illustrated, and just generally, Carol, well done. The book looks fantastic. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I've already read part of it, and gave her a few suggestions. But I'm so proud of you guys for... It's not an easy thing to write and publish a book. It's so many moving parts, so much goes into it. It's so difficult, and so anybody can do it. Most people won't. And so I'm just delighted. Congratulations. And yeah, you can go and buy their books on Amazon. So No Pulling Allowed by Natasha Lewis and Problem Pooch to Perfect Pet #1 by Carol Clark, the doggy doctor. If you've got a dog, go and buy their books because you will most definitely find them helpful.
Learn some stuff.
Yeah.
And the dog will be happier.
Yes. Well done, guys. I'm so proud.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah. We'll be back same time next week talking about the 10 Commandments of writing a book. What was that?
I don't know. There was a noise behind us.
Probably
a cat being bad.
We're going to go and investigate that noise. We'll be back same time next week. Please go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review.
5 stars.
And share this.
Share it. Tell your friends.
And go to... Oh my god, actually, by the time this comes out...
You'll have to do it if you say it.
I know. Yes, I will. Okay, go to www.moxiebooks.co.uk/pre-order book.
Nice.
And you will be able to pre-order my new book, How the Hell Do You Write a Book? And then you too could be getting a shout out on the podcast, much like Natasha and Carol, when you send me a copy of your beautiful published book. I'm on a mission to create 1,000 authors.
Nice. That's a good mission.
It is a good mission. 1,000 business owner authors. So go do that. moxiebooks.co.uk/pre-order the book. You know what? I've just said 2 different URLs. The URL will be in the show notes.
Yeah. Moxiebooks Co.uk.
Yeah. Insert URL here.
Right.
Thanks very much, Joe.
No worries.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues. Tell your friends. Send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.